Hello.
Hey, hello.
That's a long time ago.
Dear Lonneke, great to see you. Hello, good to see you. Hello,
Wonderful.
hello.
Thank you. And great to see you, Kai.
Same
Welcome
for me. Thank you
again
very
to my
much.
Book of Light. And
Thank
of
you.
course, the members of the Physical Experimental Circle are here. Is Kai.
Oh, cool. Hey guys, good to see you. Greetings from Germany. Greetings from Germany.
It's a time ago that we have spoken to each other, and I believe it was November last year. I believe so.
Yeah.
It can be that way. And a lot of things happen and not happening and are happening. And we will talk about them because we saw wonderful things on your blog and on the Facebook. And there's a lot of things going on with you. And it's time to share all the hidden knowledge, isn't it? And we heard and learned. And then the people will maybe start to understand the power of spirit.
Absolutely.
So that will be wonderful if you would like to share. So about Ptah, by example, I love the messages that I've heard. Mm-hmm. It was a great video.
Yes, absolutely. This was a truly impressing and exhaustive message that, because I'm so very critical with my own mediumistic trance productions, and with this result I was myself overwhelmed, so to speak, overwhelmed by my own production. That is very rare.
Yeah, and you're very right about that.
Yeah, and because truly that message was so profound and looking from so many directions and integrating so many factors, it had the cosmological development of the human consciousness, or the development of a cosmic human being which is aware of its relatives spread over the multiverse, so to speak, and at the same time it was about interference of parallel dimensional planes. At the same time it was about how to react rightly in the view of the zetas in regards to the crisis in
yes, I so that would be great to talk also about that and much more in this interview. And before we start, I will lit up the candles, if you don't mind.
Oh yes, of course.
To put the intention for our...
Oh yes, absolutely.
Okay.
You're welcome.
And the first candle is about the oneness that we are in spirit, in the local consciousness, so to speak.
Very much appreciated, so be it.
And the second one is the light of consciousness, that our light may shine brighter, that we can receive more understanding, more and more, that it is the wish with the second candle.
So be it.
And of course, only with the energy of the heart, of the love, we will be able to connect and to understand. And it's the connection candle of all three.
Absolutely. This triangular pattern,
yes,
is moreover the smallest form of a circle. And with the third aspect, we are basically implementing the higher organized planes of data into earthly systems, And that's why it is so important that in experimental circles, actually, this smallest form of a circle is actually activated, so that there are actually at least 3 people. So that's very important, and these 3 candles are representing that as well. So very, very beautiful.
Absolutely.
Thank you for these good intentions, Lonneke.
Of course, of course.
So let's
You're
start.
welcome. And yes, continue what you were telling. Of course, I can ask a lot of questions, and we have a lot of you for you.
Oh yeah. Okay. From the overview. In regards to this time message, there was this was an extremely long message. It was the longest or the biggest message we have ever got or received from the realm of the extraterrestrial communicators, and they are actually communicating since 2011. They started to communicate in our very, very first sittings. I do remember that quite well, when they were talking for the first time, when we had French friends in our circle here in Hanau, very, very early, at the very beginning of the Felix Circle. And and in the meantime, and this had a nice impact, this message, and
how it appears in our eyes and what our attitude is towards the developments. Some of the many important implications I will try to address, and I thank the entity Hans that I can make myself heard through his possibility to speak through the medium. Recently, the indications within Western spirituality have changed a lot. It started in the early years of the movement. The first signs became visible in mediumistic work, the course of a development in Western spirituality. Early elements of Western spirituality combined with the experience and experiential content of Eastern initiated teachings. The retreat, the detachment in meditation. The meditative retreat is in reality a reaching out, and finds in it one of its most valuable forms of expression. Looking inwards actually leads to the outside, whereby this process made possible the very first aspects of an awareness of the cosmic entity human being.
People appreciated it a lot in the German-speaking environment, in the English-speaking environment, and even in Italian it was translated, I believe, and there is an active Italian a spiritual community as well, which is also open to these additional powers, let's say, because you and me and all your friends do of course know that in traditional spiritualism, extraterrestrials they are not allowed, they are not wanted.
No, but Kai, I'm ashamed a little bit also for myself, but I must admit, you know, in the beginning, I had nothing with the galactic world, with the other dimensions, because I knew for sure that with the mental mediumship I could connect with Summerland and also with the psychometric field. And both are so wonderful that I hold on to it. I held on to it as the only truth.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it was like that, you know. Mm-hmm. And of course, there were more dimensions, frequencies that we can, with our attunement, attune into if we are open and we find the portals. But for that, I had to overstep my own dogmas in my thinking.
Oh, yes.
And also one of the members of our physical home circle, as you know, Henny, had already a lot of contact with these worlds. And I was always pushing it away because I want to be safe through my gatekeeper. But now
okay.
I know my gatekeeper only opens the door if it is from the heart, if it comes from love. And now we also communicate also with them. They show themselves in ITC pictures. And there is some contact even on the electronic voice phenomena. So, and in contact with the gatekeeper, I know I don't have to be afraid. And of course, it's overwhelming, even when it's, I can't compare it, of course, with your contact, but we have this contact. That's for sure. So, what happens? Maybe we're influencing each other on a certain field, I'm sure. But even when I try to reject it, how stupid it maybe sounds to you, I'm over it now, and it's welcome. Because now I know it's all ex-love, like it is the connection, what I have with Summerland. Maybe it has to do also with the medium, with who you connect in life during daytime with people.
For sure.
Not everybody can be your friend, do they? And they don't have to. But so, and they can. I respect everyone. But so, let's say they are welcome also in our environment now, and
Yeah,
we notice that a lot.
Yes, yeah, that's beautiful.
So
And
there is something changing. It's not.
Yeah, I
it's
just
not raining on one spot at a time, I believe.
Yeah, and this is what in this star message was underlined, that we are actually in an evolvement of a development, and that we human beings are all within this development, and that we sooner or later are necessarily confronted with these cosmological aspects in our own spirituality. And that's quite interesting to see this evolution in spirituality from very heartfelt, very own issues up to an opening towards infinite spaces. So that's truly fascinating.
Absolutely. It's
And both is, of course, guarded and safeguarded by our heart connections, for which our gatekeepers in the end stand for. So we are safe on that side as well.
Oh, yes. Yes, it's most important to realize that. It's so important because I try to understand my thoughts, my emotion, my feeling about this. And they help me because when I put questions to it, I understand that was making me a little bit frightened. So I has to do something about that. And fear, does bring the world upside down and will not help us forward, also not with the mediumship. So it can make us afraid, fear. So why should we? So don't let it, I said to myself, and be in trust of the gatekeeper. And that was the ticking point.
Nice. I love to hear that.
Yeah, it's really amazing. But you are such a amazing physical medium. How the voice came through you, spoke through you, was an intense, beautiful voice. It was incredible.
Yeah, but you need to realize, as it is mentioned in the video itself, the text is recited. This is not the original text from. No, it's not the original recording. It is the original text, but it was cleansed of not finished sentences. The entity sometimes needed 3 starts to formulate a sentence rightly, to make it logical in the end. And all this we threw out, that we have a cleansed text. But all the sentences are original sentences from the seance. So in this, it is not changed. We only have thrown out what was not good German or half sentences.
I understand because yes, I truly understand that.
But what is right, I did let myself fall totally into the energy when I was reciting it. Yes.
Amazing.
Yes, it is.
It's always amazing. We need to not to control, of course, everything for the development and for achieving new things. Anyway, for me, that's very difficult. I like in life very much to have to control things. And with this circle, we must let it go, let it flow where it goes. And for you, it's a piece of cake to do that. So to speak.
Yeah, I mean these trance processes, and specifically the automatic speech. This is truly something I really have practiced so many years, and this really happened so smoothly in the meantime. I really love that works so easily, but I struggle oftentimes with the contents which are coming through, and I always have to criticize something in the spirit's attitude. Sometimes the spirits do express even directly opposite opinions.
Yes,
to mine.
I know.
And sometimes they position themselves in a way that I do not prefer. For example, after Ptah, we had another surprise. The spirit control was announcing that via a special spirit, which is only always coming when a special guest is coming to our seances, then a special spirit turns up. It is his former female partner, who is in the spirit world, and she was a spiritual teacher herself when she was on Earth, and she announced last time that she had the opportunity to invite communicators from the future.
Oh my God!
To communicate in the circle, and at that day, the gatekeepers were closing the session because they were not allowing per se a communicator from the future simply communicating on first sight, so spontaneously. So they first had to recheck, and in the next session then we had a very very complicated message, allegedly from the future. We do not know who might have communicated there. We have not, that wasn't the last session, that's why I have truly not more information. But the information that came through was very, very complicatedly perceived by the sitters. They were even a little bit disoriented because of the information that was coming from the communicators from the future, because they I tell you what the message was from these communicators in the future. It was about the critique that is at the moment happening towards our governments and so forth. And these communicators were actually speaking out a warning in so far that they said, don't throw the baby away when you are emptying the bathtub, because your generation will be the last generation that is in favor of the classical form of governments with basic rights, life rights, which are basically or originally given to us, because after this generation, an era would come up which is called, or which is allegedly called in the future, the corporate era. And this is when, because of crises like this and upheld crises like this, so when the governments uphold the state of crisis and overdo it, that then a lot of these governments start to become bankrupt, and that actually something like a government bankruptcy is juridically possible, and that then all these immense, unbelievable, vast and huge private companies jump in and overtake the bills, so to speak, but they buy themselves into the former governments, and they are actually the government is forced, so to speak, to sell out countries, so to speak, which are then not anymore under the flag of a country, but under the flag of huge private companies. And I mean, these scenarios have been talked about before. And this communicator from the future was claiming that he was living in exactly a future that was in the consequence of such a government bankruptcy or country bankruptcy. And they warned us and urged us, when we are criticizing our government, that we do not get rid of the governmental form, but only of the rights or the changes in the rights, that they are undone, so to speak, but not to get rid of the safeguarding governmental forms, because with all critique, they are safeguarding us from a time that may come in the future when these big companies overtake, and then we will be born under the sign of a huge company. And all these basic rights we still have, we may be taken away from us. So that was an interesting warning, basically, but people were very insecured by this. So I have experienced how very much impactful these messages can be as well. I forget that from time to time. And we had to talk a lot about that because that was a very pragmatic and hard message with no spiritual content.
May I ask you something? Do
Yes,
you mind?
of course.
Do you mind? I'm interrupting you. What does this message personally does with you? How is your reaction in life towards this message? Because, of course, it is possible that it will be that way. We don't know, because I believe the future, we have our own free will and everything. Yeah, the wind can blow from another side and will be different. But maybe you're right. But what is it doing with you personally in your life? Will your attitude be different? Will you react different? Will you advise different to people?
No, not necessarily, because I always remind the people that all these messages, and even if they are so powerful like the Ptah message, we always have to keep a sovereignty that it totally leaves the decision on our side. So we never overgive us in a way to these spirit messages, that they truly have a far-fetched impact on us. So I always try to remind the people, you can benefit from it, you can profit from it, but never allow that the message is holding you away from your own thinking and your own judgment.
Yes, of course, of course. It's so. And you know, it's a very tough time, and we can't avoid to talk about it, I believe, because it's coming up now. And of course, it's a hard time. And I hear the ambulance right now here. It's going on and on. So there is a lot going on, and at this moment we have to get through it. And it breaks my heart, of course, all the death and everything and the news in the world. But there is still, even still, when we know all that and we know people around us who are sick, there's so much to be grateful for as well at the same time. And it's important to find that, I believe, in yourself, because it's a kind of, even in our tears we are connected. We are always connected with the other world, with the unseen world, you know, with the spirits. And of course, if we let them know our fears, but also our questions, they will react on it. And maybe if you be alert, and there will be some signs for you that help you in this difficult time from spirit.
Absolutely.
So yes, we think we may not forget. We're not alone. We just feel that way, and
Absolutely.
we will come through it. I believe.
That is very, very important. And even if you are in a very negative circle, you can be sure that the positive powers will prevail, will come, will take you out of this again, sooner or later. And if it is later, then you will be privileged to learn something about life and something about being. And it anyway ends.
It's so, yes.
It anyway ends, and so I believe for the people it's important to know that even if it is a very negative dynamic, the positive dynamic will get us out of this sooner or later.
And you must help yourself with it a little bit. I say, even in these difficult times, to myself, make someone smile today. And if I don't feel like smiling, I just start with the smile. And then my feelings will follow up, you know. If I get a smile back, I feel this. So we must work on it, because of course we may feel it and we may be so sad, but then we truly have to bring ourselves to the reality, to the now, where we are now, and try to connect with the love in ourselves. Between all, because otherwise, how is it possible? It's not possible for me if I am only in these emotions. I feel that. I can have tears about the things that's going on around me. But then I wish to connect with spirit, and I must understand my emotions. And I try to understand them with my heart. And then to connect again with the thankful part that is at the same time also here.
Absolutely. I admire that a lot, what you are saying. And I learned that I started actually to struggle in the last 14 months between the urge to tell the people about these positive things and this positive connection, and my own erosion in these 14 months of not allowed to do anything. In the last 14 months, I believe we had 5 events or so, and so we are personally powerfully afflicted by the restrictions. We are more affected by the restrictions, but by the pandemic. It took me a year to learn to know somebody who has corona. So we here in Germany, we have a very comparably low number of corona patients. It's a little bit. It's truly. I mean, these numbers are official. It is like a grave influenza, a bad influenza. When people are dying and people are suffering unquestionably, and it is also not true that there is not a virus. Of course, there is a virus. Yeah, but this started to become personally, because you asked about my personal interconnections here. This started to become a little bit difficult for me, because people were looking up at me, wanting to hear solutions, wanting to hear spiritual messages. Yes, and my own personality was actually so starting to erode psychologically, emotionally, existentially, of course, because not being allowed to work for more than a year has consequences, of course, existential, economical consequences. And that was the most difficult task for me in the last year. And it all started to become better then, after we could hold here and there little seances under very controlled environments, with distance of the people and so forth. And but my body was back in the biological circle of the seances, because this is also something that the body wants or needs. The body is used to going through the seance room energies, connecting with 20 people regularly, always in that connection field, when so many things are creating from that field. And this was totally lacking. And that was very difficult, and it is still very difficult. And
nowadays, in your
from today on, today the parliament has decided to give away all Confederate rights to the highest form of government, to the chancellor. Yeah, this has happened not since 1945, not once. How are you guys handling it?
I must say, in the personal surrounding, we have a lot of people who had COVID and also recovered from it. And now a friend and her whole family has it, and a close friend of mine. And her husband is in the hospital. But I have the feeling that he will recover.
Intensive care?
And I believe he's not at intensive care. He's getting oxygen. Maybe he is, but I know he went last Wednesday in the hospital. I will call again. So, and a lot of people are recovering from it. And I hope with the vaccines, and this is my opinion, now we're talking about it, and there will be, of course you can get this corona anyway, but the chance that you will end up on the ice in the intensive care unit will be almost zero. So the atmosphere and the health will be better among people. We need to trust that. More and more people will be not dying from it anymore because they had this. How do you think of the vaccine? I will put aside, but it will help us for now. So I decide to take the vaccine. Spirit told me to take the vaccine, not only for myself, they say, but also for the people around me. But you can still get it and pass it through. So I believe it's, of course, it's good that we talked about it, because otherwise it would be strange, isn't it, if we avoid that totally.
Yeah.
But I would also like to talk about phenomena.
Oh yes.
Are you into that?
This
Yes.
this is the worst thing for me, that I'm pulled into these earthly
No,
issues.
you're just
I
human.
have left behind me many.
No,
years ago.
Kai, you're just human, and I have also my off days, so to speak.
Yeah.
I noticed that as well, but it's very good to bring each other forward on a positive way as possible, especially
Absolutely. This
to try to
absolutely
help
has
some.
to
Yes.
be. And this, and what we have, crisis, left or right, back or forth, what we have here in hands, yes, is the biggest treasure people can have, human beings can have in their hands. And we always have to keep that in the back of our minds. Another one thing I need to say, because I was discussing that with the medicine man, with one of the Lakota medicine men just a few days ago. It is about how many people, and we all have achieved within society so much because we could interest so many people in spiritual issues and topics, and we could invite them, and we could let them thrive by bringing them in contact with the spiritual issue, so to speak. And we were both, and he was starting to talk about it, but I am observing that as well, that many people, of course, are a little bit like distracted, lured away from spirituality, and this is, of course, also a definite and clear result of the crisis. I mean, we too, and the others which are here on Zoom, we are so deeply into this, so nothing can rip us out here, and not at all. But many others who were starting to become nosy and who were starting to become interested and so forth, we have to recatch them. We have to recatch them and lead them once again, back into the issue.
Yes. It's, to have the understanding that life continues, that death doesn't exist, is one thing that's very important that we understand for sure. And I'm very interested as the group in the non-local consciousness and in the research of it, because it gives us a better understanding about ourselves and the world around us. And you're so right, because getting people back and to get an understanding, to stay connected, and also what we can do with our mind power, not only pushing things around and doing nice things, that's great. It makes us understanding that we're not a body alone, but we can do by connecting in spirit so much for the world. We can truly help peoples on the other side of the world by connecting and sending them energy, love. It's not nothing. Also, messages and so on. So if you really understand that this is not just a talk or just a few words that I'm sharing with someone who knows this, but these people around us, I hope very much that they will be involved in it and understand that, and get more understanding of it, that our mind power is really amazing power. And you only need to know how to reach it and to make contact with it, and you will achieve so many things in your life, but not only for yourself.
Absolutely not. This is what the spirits are always reminding us, that they are telling us. Many people believe, I'm only a single person. I have no influence on nothing because I am alone. And that is absolutely not true. It is about the purity of our thought. And if this thinking is pure and is of quality, and if you then actually activate these techniques, activate the interconnections, then it is infinite, it is non-locate, as you said. And but the erosion, you need a specific peace of mind to step into this.
It is, absolutely. And my heart is crying, and I know the hearts of the spirits are crying with us. Absolutely. And there need to be some strength under us to help each other, to reach out to someone you don't know. Even if it's for one day, even if it's for a little thing. Why not? Why not get a feeling that we can bring this power up? Because that's what's needed, and especially in the near future that you are describing. And I think you're so right. The richest will be more rich, maybe, and the poorest will be more poor. But this is a tendency that you and I can't do anything personal about, as special. We can do something about it by reaching out to the others around us. And if you cannot do it physically, then do it mentally with your prayers, or with your meditation, or with your thoughts together, if possible. So it's good to know that we are connected.
We are actually educating our young people to walk through life asking what is in for me, and asking that with a naturality, as if it is absolutely natural that everything comes to oneself by itself. This is the attitude, or this is an attitude people like to believe. The so-called millennials, these are people who specifically grew up in the last 2 generations, and besides of values which were communicated via the internet, there was additionally in the schools and in the universities a policy of elbow, learn to be the best, learn to leave the other behind, not learn to take the other by its hand and help him to get over the hurt. Learn how you get the other out of way. And
yes, it's good when you do sports. If you are swimming and you do a contest, you want to win. That's okay.
That's okay.
But that's something different.
But as a life philosophy.
Yes. No, of course not. So when now the world
What did you
anyway
do
is learning
then?
on a very tough way that not everything goes as you expect, because everything is going now the other way, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. So could you help yourself, Lonneke, at that day? How did you manage somebody like that?
Yes, it was not so easy. I just had to respect it, and that's what I do. And and most people who comes from mental medium readings, and I'm now focusing more and more only on the deep trance and on the research, but it's always about what they need and need now. Like you can make a cup of Nescafe, not about more intelligence behind it, what's going on that brought you to this point, or and so on. Anyway, it's not a blame. I respect it, because I have only to think a few years in my past. I thought different than today. And if we talk about the galactic world, I was thinking different. So everybody has his moment, so to speak. Yeah, so it's only Lonneke that was bothering, but it's nothing, of course.
And I believe for us it is truly important that we do not try to educate these people, because that won't work. But our way is to be an example, to be an obvious example how it is being done better.
And still, I have so many things on my wish list that I have to do better. So there's a lot to learn. But what little things we achieve, we love with the physical mediumship. Last Wednesday, during the Zoom, I was sitting in the cabinet, and in the afternoon I was preparing the computer and so on for the Zoom. And there were, for the first time, beautiful spirit lights and caught on camera. Oh. Yes, it's true. So, these little things are not little for us. They're big. We love it. And we're thinking about to make it, to bring it out on the video. Because spirit lights are amazing how they move. They move in this video, because we like to record, if possible, everything. Mm-hmm. And in the dark, most of the time you don't see anything, and there was a blue light on, and it was seen in the blue light. But I hope it will be also in the darkness. Mm-hmm. As you have lights, big lights in the darkness, of course you can, I think, record it and video it. What happened? So the lights go that way, and then they turn around, and then they go that way, and you think, if it goes this way and this way, it will continue that way. No, it goes totally strange way of, and that's really something that I have noticed of spirit lights, that they can behave not as I expected.
Yeah, I believe that.
You know that. You don't believe. You know that better than I do.
Yes, and I need to tell you that we as well had totally new forms of spirit lights. But we sometimes make these private workshops when we have 2 up to 4 people coming to Hanau, and we then send them through the energy of the Hanau spirits, which are living in this seance room sometimes, I believe. And we, a few months ago, we had an incident. That was truly letting my jaw drop. It was in a non-deep trance session, and I was not in a deep trance. It was simply our regular table. We call it group trance, And in one corner of the room, it suddenly started, and it was not ending, wanting flashes of light. The whole room was illuminated, and it was in the most farthest corner of us. We all could not believe I was standing up to see that there was not a bulb, maybe still in the socket, but there was no source. I
Oh,
stood in the flash and I could not find the source.
oh my
And it
God.
was flashing and flashing and flashing. And it was flashing over a lot of minutes. And we were sitting around, I believe we were 4 or 5 people. So that was truly something very, very, very special. And another specialty were also in a table sitting, interestingly. And there, then suddenly, like a huge thunderstorm started to happen on the surface of the table. So the table was
My
moving
God.
in between our hands, and everywhere tiny flashes, like as if we were looking on a weather map from above. Over the table, these flashes, probably hundreds of flashes, were discharging and going down, like as if there were little clouds that spread these flashes down towards us. Totally amazing. So unfortunately, this was all not recorded. So you are more lucky because you have
It was
recorded your life.
yeah, it's such a little bit light that goes like this and then
Yeah,
like
but that is
But we
amazing.
loved it. We loved it. But
And if you have recorded it,
yes.
this is probably an amazing form of evidence.
And you know, I later on I looked for it. I said, "Oh, it did not record." So for a day, I thought it did not record. I was so sad about it. But later on, it had time to load up, so to speak, and it was recorded. So I was happy. But Kai, you also can put you will, I think, also put cameras. We try always to put a camera, and if possible 2 or 3, you know. And a lot of times I put an iPad camera and an iPhone camera and a computer camera, and only worked was the computer camera, and the rest it was truly on. 100%. I'm sure. I checked it. It went off.
How do you film darkness? What are the parts that build up this fictional universe?
What looks like different currents. I see liquid, kind of for exploring a lot of different things.
Sparkle moment's a lot bigger.
It really could be anything.
Against gravity, it stretches out itself. During this film, darkness could be its own element that exists that you can touch.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. But we have caught it.
Yeah, and I know that phenomenon. Of the... Mm-hmm.
And I know that our spirit team, they want us very much to pick up this phenomena. They're doing very much the best to show us, and they hope I will bring it out. And I already did for 2 times now. And one was about that they told me if I go into the seance room, we have experiments every week, almost every week, and we all try to achieve something on that level. The spirit team is working with us, and I was going to sleep, and I said to my husband, "Wait one moment, I'm in my pajama, but I have to go to the seance room because they tell me it will be party time with orbs. I need to film that." So I listened and I went into the seance room, and it was truly party time, and I was so happy. I was amazed by what I saw. And then not the next night, the night after the next night, I got a message. We want you to go at the same time, to go again into the seance room, and you record the same way you did. You will hardly find any activity. And it was that way. And my husband is my, no, I'm speaking the truth. And the recordings also. So it was communication with these orbs who were in connection with spirit somehow. and I never got such a big how you call it, validation of it. And there also another miracle that happened, but anyway, it's out. I put it on the YouTube, but it's amazing. And these things, I love so much. And you know why? Because Spirit loves us, and also I believe from the other dimensions where you have contact to show that we are more than we think we are, and that we can achieve beautiful things with this energy in our life and in the world, who are damaged already so much. And not we or you, but also our neighbor and others. We all contribute to that energy if we know it, don't we?
Absolutely. And I totally am on your side. In the last years, we have photographed what we could and filmed what we could. But there is another dynamic Spirit started to remind us of, not to sell out the dignity of the seance room. So that the seance room has to behold a core of secrecy or intimacy, which is only there for the sitters, which are actually taking part in the ceremony itself. So it's an urge or a hint that we shall not forget that, and that is the reason why we are not always allowed to photograph, because they need to keep it in a balance.
That's absolutely, yes.
Yeah, because right. I have recognized that even though the things are fascinating, which we catch with our images and on our audio recordings, but they lose a lot of impact power. So during the seance, this has still a lot more power and impact.
Yes, absolutely. It's so if you watch something and people immediately, by example, the miracle that I saw, maybe you will see that it's a very short video on the wall. It was like a drawing and the energy was coming towards me, and it took 2 or 3 photos. It was a miracle that something is on it. But another group of researchers, very respectful researchers, thought it was fraud. And it is absolutely not fraud. But another way, I believe that the people who are looking, who are interesting, will find you, and the others will not look anyway because they're not interested. So that's one of the things I keep in mind by sharing, and it's always with permission of Spirit. Always, I will never ever bring something out if they don't say better not. They sometimes say better not, Lonneke.
Absolutely, yeah. I know
and
that.
They have the first and the last word for me. You know why we're talking about phenomena? If you like, I would like to make an EVP recording just right now.
Oh yeah,
because this energy is very great, and I know I asked already beforehand if you liked it, and I asked. It was an hour before we make contact that I asked on the EVP, on the electronic voice phenomena, if they like us to make contact. And in the last period, we have heard also Nikola Tesla coming through on the electronics voice phenomena. And now you must know that I know a lot of people who use names, who have names in their seances, who are famous, and they like to bring that out. And I don't care who it is, if it is done and if it's right. Anyway, he said, you speak with Nikola Tesla. So if something comes like that and on the recording, then I appreciate it, of course.
Yes.
But it's not to get more value for it because of him. Because
Absolutely.
It's already... Yeah, you understand me. My English is poor, but...
I was always also very critically looking on that when people have the Emperor of China talking.
Oh yes, my God. But he is the one
Very interesting.
who is
That's
doing a
very
lot with communication,
Mm-hmm.
and he will help with the portal, so we can see what we can achieve, if you like.
Cool.
And I ask also beforehand. It is really spontaneously everything. The participants of our Circle Terra Mystica who are here on the Zoom, maybe they also have some questions, and I'm willing to ask. And of course, it's an experiment. So maybe I will not succeed even when I succeed on forehand very well. It's always like that. But if we don't try, we don't know. And I know that I have a lot of good contacts. So shall we try? Shall we give it a try?
Definitely.
So I will I will do it two ways. One, I will do it with the radio, with using that. And the other is using non-radio. This only with sounds on my desk and so, and they will print it. If it's on my desk, if I don't use the radio, I have only contact with the psychometric field. That's closed. The spirits from Summerland can't come. Till now, they have not entered that. That's a frequency. Radio Gaga. No, it's not Radio Gaga. It's Radio Zonneglossis.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit it is. A little bit it is.
That's straight. Okay. So, for now, dear Kai, we can put some questions out to the spirit world, and I can't hear the answers on forehand. Anyway, maybe I will pick up something, but we have sometimes they need to find the frequency to tune in. So that's why I asked the same question 3 times. So it can be that the first time they were not able to come through, and the other time they will. And they will repeat it on another way. They did before many times. So we invite the spirit teams, not only the spirit team from us, Terra Mystica, but also your spirit team, if they want to contribute to this experiment. Of course, if you don't have questions, if you don't ask, how can they give? So we need to... it would be great if we have some questions, and we have to live with the answers, I must say. They're not always the answers that I would give. It's the same. They say something totally different sometimes. Say, Lonneke, you're very wrong. You haven't looked about this or that. Okay. So it's welcome. Do you have somewhere in your mind a question?
I would like to let your sitters ask first, because I have asked in the last months so many questions to the spirit world. I'm really a little bit emptied of questions, but I'm very interested in any result that may come with questions from your sitters. I'm sure they may have some.
If you say, I don't have a special question, but maybe you do say if there is a message for me, for you, Kai,
yes.
that it is welcome.
Oh, yes, please.
Yes?
So,
shall we leave that in this way? To say if they have something to say to you, or they have a message for you, that they can speak up?
Yes, please.
From the heart we make this connection?
We very much appreciate it. If there is a message for me or for the circle, that would be very much appreciated if a message would be given.
Okay, we will see. I will open the connection now. The sitters, if they have... Okay, hello guys. Can you open your mics? Let's see. Is there someone with a question?
Yes, I
I can't hear you hard and loud enough. I must see what to do about it, Henny.
I believe when there was this section for my question, I already believe I have heard an answer in English, interestingly, but yeah, you will sit down later and work yourself through. Okay.
Yes, this week. Yes, is it something that is worthwhile to share? If I find it, I will, of course, share it with you. But can you tell me what you received?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Maybe my perception was.
Me?
No, you should not put side information on the table. If he knows something, he should write it down in a covered letter so that after your analysis you can match them.
You hear that?
Yeah, that would be the better way. And I just wanted to explain it. Maybe that my perception was a little bit influenced, but I will write it down. And if first you look, and then we can compare.
Yeah, of course. I will. Thank you, Martin. That's the big researcher, you know. And I'm very happy with all his advices because it really helps me forward.
Oh yeah, that makes absolute sense. Very, very, very good is she. She's such a...
Oh, look at her.
Such a beauty and kind girl. You wouldn't believe how nice she is, and how she's an absolutely treasure. We are so happy with her.
Oh, she's so sweet. And how's she physically feeling?
Yeah, how she is physically doing, or how she is feeling?
Both.
Both. Yeah, she is actually a dog which was her race was being used for chasing little animals in Portugal and in Spain. She is a Podengo Portuguese. This is the name of her race, but that was never trained inside of her. But she has huge fangs, and what is also very beautiful with her, she has the submissive grin. Do you know what that is?
No.
It is looking sometimes a little bit threatening, because she is lifting her lips.
Oh.
But it is called submissive grin. So she's actually grinning at you.
Yes, a grimace.
And she of course recognizes that we are talking about her. Have a look, Lonneke.
Hello, Carmela. Hello, darling. Oh, look at her, so sweet, like a baby.
Yeah, she is.
Yes, you're lovely. Look at her eyes.
Yeah, her eyes are absolutely amazing. I always believe she has the eyes of a human being. Yeah, it is amazing how she sometimes...
Some dogs really have that. Yeah. Some dogs really, you have the feeling from, oh, it looks like I'm looking in humans' eyes. But she's beautiful, her eyes.
She's so
They're
beautiful, and she's so fluffy.
Like crystals, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes she is too fluffy because electrical discharges are going off when I am caressing her, you know.
And is he sitting sometimes in the seance room?
Every time we have no cabinet. So in healing, she's with us. In private workshop, she's with us. In all our online activities, she was with us. So yes, she is.
That's wonderful. That's great. Oh, I love it, really. Marvelous.
Yeah, thank you.
And yes, of course. And I hope, yes, of course, that she will do fine. I know there was physically something the matter with her, but it doesn't is such a big issue anymore, I believe.
It's gone. Yeah,
It's even gone. Yes,
surgery
you have
going.
Oh,
Yeah.
really, really. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we finish our chat, I would love to know a little bit about this amazing gifts through apports that you have got. The rings, the necklace. It's something, isn't it? You're not wearing it.
No, because it's always given to the sitters.
Always?
Always.
Oh my goodness.
Only the things we haven't found during the seance because they were in the curtain cloth or so. Julia is collecting these, but the bigger things that come from the bare hand, or from the dischargement. This is. Oh yes, this was one of them. Exactly. So, what is interesting for you is maybe because it happened again. When people come in these private workshops, the spirits do stir up in them prana energy, ectoplasmic.
Yes, you're doing workshops like that. I've seen it. Yes.
Yes, and then ectoplasm is actually produced. We had that in the past, but what we now have achieved that a private workshop guest was producing a ring by her own powers and abilities. Okay, it took quite a while, and we were standing there waiting.
Where does it come from? From the mouth?
From the hand.
Yes, from the hand. From her own hand.
Yeah, I mean, actually, it was her spirit guide her spirit guide was very well known for when he was living on Earth. He was very well known for producing objects simply out of thin air.
Like Muegge.
It was.
Yes, it's almost like that, isn't it?
Yeah, I cannot say the name because of course we have to keep that private, but it was a famous person who was able to do that, and we deeply interconnected our guest with that guide in a very powerful deep hypnotical routine. And actually this guide was sticking in our guest. I could nearly see him, how he was using the hand of our guest, doing a specific movement. And out of this movement, suddenly it fell down. It was absolutely astounding.
And this movement was for you, for your third eye, that you could see that, or does everybody see it?
The guest was making it. She was parallelly moving her hand in the way the spirit guide would have used his hand in a specific way of movement, out of which then the objects.
I think it will be party time if we have an apport someday. Would be lovely. I'm happy already with the little things, but how wonderful it would be to have even if it's one apport. I would love it.
Yeah, I mean, I am myself, every time when I'm not in deep trance, when I can observe it, I'm so astounded. When we stand around the table, holding hands, waiting that it falls from the ceiling, this is mostly when it happens. But also privately with Julia, or in workshops held by day, we had it as well. Suddenly behind me, objects were falling.
And
So
those
this
are
is-
for you. Those are especially for you and for Julia.
Yes, that may be this. These things happen when these things happen when we are alone, of course. Then, yeah, and we stand in New Zealand. I remember very well in a hotel, and we were both looking up at the ceiling, and we were both able to see it, how it fell from the ceiling. It was absolutely, my heart started to
Incredible.
bump like crazy.
It is, and this is really wonderful
Yeah, this
power and positive
absolutely.
power, and it's amazing that you can be at service for spirit to build it up, to reach people who wants to know and to share what they can achieve. And I hope so much that there will be many more years and much more for you to share with us also.
Absolutely, and I'm so very sure, Lonika, every time when we meet, and I hope it will be possible that we can somewhere come back to your country. It is so important that we meet personally and align personally. I'm so persuaded that truly information can be overgiven then in a way that is not so easy to be overgiven when we sit here in front of the screen.
Yes. I
So
really,
next time,
it's a wish. It's a big wish.
next time we come, we have to truly exercise that.
Oh,
and
absolutely. You're so
Great
welcome.
forward. Yeah.
So welcome here with all of us. We can't
thank
wait.
you.
Hè, jongens? Ik hoor niks, maar laat maar horen hoor.
Zeker.
Ja, zeker, absolutely.
Yes, we
Yes,
can't
yes,
wait.
yes,
We
yes,
can't
yes.
wait. So, dear Kai,
Yes.
who is the man hanging on the wall behind you? I must ask it before we leave.
Rudi Schneider,
Ah,
my main physical guide.
my God. He's intense.
Oh, yeah.
Very intense. Yes. Handsome man as well. So, thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
And for
All the
everything.
guys.
And of course, I would love to ask you much more about the exoplasm and about many more things. But I'm sure we will meet again because
Definitely.
we will meet also on this way, maybe on Skype again. I hope so. I hope you're willing.
Sure.
Okay.
For sure.
That's great. And I want very much that you give us the love to Julia. Because I know after every strong man, there is this very strong woman.
You
and
can bet. You can
yes, and you're a team. That's what I believe. And that's what I feel. And
That's true. That's
pass us her our love, please. And hug Carmela again from us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for this conversation, Kai.
Thank you.
I
too,
will
Tony.
close now the candles if you have a moment. I
Oh,
will.
yes.
So, other way around. The oneness, it's not important which candle, it's only a symbol. The oneness that we are in spirit. The light of the consciousness, that we get more understanding, and we learned already a lot tonight. And I will let this one burn, the love.
Cool.
And I will close that down.
That's nice.
So,
Say
thank you
hello to
again.
Mama as well, please.
Thank you again, dear Kai,
Yes,
for this conversation.
Thank
Till
you.
next time.
Next time. Bye-bye to all
Bye-bye.
of you. Bye-bye.
Hello, dear friends. I hope you enjoyed the chat with Kai Muegge, together with the participants on the Zoom, and Kai Muegge on Skype. And he recorded the EVP as well as I did. And I will show you what I have heard, and I'll let you listen to it. Before that, I would like to share some information that has an educational aspect in it, for me anyway. And maybe you like to hear that. And in the future, I will make tutorials, I promise you that, for the EVP recording, for who wants to learn it. But for now, dear friends, spirit was no harm done. Let me be very clearly, with my poor English, I hope I can explain it. It was no harm done at all. But the questions were, in a way, spirit was a little bit shocked because of the kind of questions that were asked, you see. I usually work very differently. Let me explain it to you, try to explain it. When I make a recording, or I do a mental medium reading, or we sit for spirit in the circle, or sometimes they're asked if there is a message. And when it's there, then the speaker presents itself. And sometimes it's said who it is, especially when it's relevant according to spirit. I usually follow after that. They come from the deceased, from the living guides, and from the psychometric field and different dimensions. For my loving contact, there are laws, certain laws that I need to obey. I want to obey. I understand them. A kind of nature law, so to speak. And we need to understand that spirit also always has the first and the last word. They decide, not me, whatever will happen or what they will bring forward. And often facts are shared, and we know already what has been given during the years, hundreds of messages, photos, drawings, EVP, and so on. So I never ever asked names or streets or etc. If spirit want to give their name of information, it's always welcome. I'm grateful for every reading, if it is through mental mediumship or EVP or the wonderful ITC pictures, and regardless the outcome. And in my daily life, when I worked as a nurse and still as a writer and a researcher, I have been serving the spiritual world, you must know, since the 80s. I am one of the many ambassadors on earth for spirit. Kai had permission from my spirit team to ask questions on the EVP, and he had no questions at that point. And Kai agreed with the recording, so we did. And during the recording, I also asked participants who were there on the Zoom if they had questions. And some of the questions were a little bit, and again, no harm done, no guilt feeling anyway, but they were a little bit inappropriate under these laws, so to speak. And these questions were in addition also a little irrelevant for Kai Muegge, which was the purpose of the recording. I made the mistake myself by letting it happen, and I'm sincerely sorry for that. Anyway, the results are very interesting, then I will share with you in a few moments from now. And the energy that was in this EVP recording were energies from spirit, from Summerland, and that are the ones I want to share with you, mostly. And I hear also the guides of the living, the guides that are in the psychometric field, also guides from spirit. And the guides from the living are their doubles with the help of their other entities. And some call them the higher self or your colleague. Yes, this recording was interesting, very interesting, because they said to me at a certain point, these questions are not grateful. And I understand it now, absolutely. And for the rest, the advice of spirit is, if Kai would like to have also another recording on another conversation that we will have, he's very welcome, because they loved it. They truly did. And he can have questions or leave it open, a recording. That's also welcome. So let's go now to listen to this recording. And don't forget to subscribe, because there will be very nice interview with For example, again, the third one with Robert van den Broeke, you know, the one of the crop circles, and he makes wonderful ITC photos in the Netherlands. And we will speak again with Dean Radin and so on, and Robin Foy. So stick with us, subscribe, and I'm going to get you now the EVP recording results. So, friends, here we are again with the EVP recording, and I will put some things out of it and explain them to you in English, because otherwise it will be too long, and let you hear some of it, because of course it's in Dutch. We have also Dutch listeners, and maybe you like it. Let's see, put my glasses on, I can see more clearly. They say, so Kai explains that he has no questions at this moment, blah blah blah. Here we go. Then a message would be much appreciated, said Kai. And here they give all kinds of message. De boodschap willen we doorgeven. The message we want to give to you. Maria is known. We have another question, if I may, Lonneke. It is relevant for the now. And it's a beautiful day, and I'm amazed that Nikola is there also. Lonneke, ik verbaas me dat Nikola er ook is. I felt the energy already. Lonneke, ik verbaas me dat Nikola er is. And if I put it slower, you will hear the word ook. Then they say, Kai must practice more with tie rips. I hate those things, and I don't know. I would never say that. But let's hear it. Kai moet met tie rippen veel meer oefenen. Kai moet met tie rippen veel meer oefenen. And then they say, as you, I don't have seconds. I have seconds. I don't know what I mean by that, but okay. They say, net als jij, ik heb geen seconde. Like you have, I have no seconds. Okay, then they talk about... Oh, I have an amazing contact. Ik heb geweldig contact. En ik heb geweldig contact. En ik heb geweldig contact. Okay. And then again, I say, is there a message for Kai? They say, in het licht ik ben geboren. In the light I was born. I will put it a little bit softer because this is really too loud. In het licht ik ben geboren. U heeft contacten met geesten. You have contact with spirits. U heeft contacten met geesten. And then they say it has a lot of points. Beautiful. Het heeft erg veel punten. Mooi. Het heeft erg veel punten. Mooi. Of course, I can slow it down. I can let you hear that. Heeft erg veel punten. Mooi. Het is wel oprecht. We zijn dat licht. It is truly sincere. We are the light.
Het is wel zijn dat licht.
Het is wel oprecht. We zijn dat licht.
Het is wel zijn dat licht. Het is wel zijn dat licht.
Yes, that's what we are in essence, aren't we? Then I ask if there are participants who have questions by the Zoom. And then Henny asked, in the name of someone else, a question. If Tesla can tell us how many months he walked on Earth. And I can let you hear him ask it. No, anyway, let's go on. My reaction may be nicer.
Oh my goodness. You hear the question?
I was a little shocked, you hear, because I never expected that. Okay. And then we have this contact with Nikola Tesla, and he said, "Oh, welcome, Kai." Maybe you like to hear that. Oh, welcome, Kai. We bring you how you say it, a cup of love. That's a nice one. We brengen jou een beker liefde. We brengen jou een beker liefde. Then I am shocked. Ik ben geschrokken. Ik ben geschrokken. Het staat erbij in mijn boek. It's there in my books. They mean the answer. Het staat erbij in mijn boeken. En natuurlijk is het gemakkelijk. Ik ben geschrokken. And of course that's easy. I was shocked. Natuurlijk is het erg gemakkelijk. Ik ben erg geschrokken. And this is Nikola. Ik ben ervan geschrokken, yes. And then they say to me, it is brave that you are doing that. You are brave that you're doing it. U bent dapper dat u het doet. U bent dapper dat u dat doet. Again, if there is a question, and let's see, you make contact, and I always wanted to stop. I almost want to stop. I'm sad. En jullie kunnen contact maken. Ik wou bijna stoppen. Ik ben verdrietig. Yes. And then, oh, here you see, I must put it a little bit up. Deze vragen zijn niet dankbaar. These questions are not thankful. Deze vragen zijn niet dankbaar. Yes, I told you. That's what they told me. Then we have a lady from the Zoom who wants to know when Nikola's, the address when Nikola's immigrate to the USA. What was his address? And then they say, let's say what he say. He says, he has humor, you know, really. He is speaking, giving her an answer, but appropriate answer. And he says, I have a new place found for myself. Ik heb een nieuwe plek voor mezelf. Here it comes. Ik heb een nieuwe plek voor mezelf. And then he says, and I also do not pay rent. En ik betaal ook geen huur. I will put it a little bit quicker. Wait. If it, yeah. En ik betaal ook geen huur. En ik betaal ook. I also don't pay rent. Isn't that funny? And then he says, I really remember it. I do. Ik weet het heus nog wel. Ik weet het heus nog. And I thought to myself, now I will go away because these questions. En ik dacht bij mezelf, en nu ga ik weg. Lonneke, dankbaar ben jij. Lonneke, dankbaar ben jij. Anyway, and then he says, she stops. Yes, I stopped listening. It was right because I was shocked for that. And later on I listened. Okay, I'm happy that I may speak. Ik ben ook blij dat ik mag spreken. He says. Ik ben ook blij dat ik mag spreken. And then they say things about my husband. Martin has to work, of course. Martin moet werken natuurlijk. And I speak about the past, and I thought he found me. Anyway, we continue. Then the same question. Then someone asked a question about animals. If they are in Summerland, and of course I know that I have a lot of questions, a lot of messages from the animals, and I know a lot about how they are looking after by spirits. So they say to me, I'm amazed that you have to ask me that, Lonneke, and it's only because someone asked it that I did it for the EVP. Okay, here it comes. Ik verbaas me dat jij dat nog moet vragen. I can understand that they are amazed. It's strange that she can ask that. Anyway, they say. But I'm here anyway tonight. Ik ben er vanavond toch maar bij. Ik ben er vanavond toch maar bij. You know, if you hear one word or one sound you can recognize, it's already great, because I took years for me to hear this. And this one is more difficult because there are a lot of other influence and energies around the voices. So I have to pick out the right message. And that's wonderful that with the mediumship it helps me. Okay, there is honestly, there is actually a problem. And that was the problem. We talked about it. Then there is a question from someone again, and she asked it to Tesla.
Yes, thank you. Dear Tesla, is there an insight you would like to share with us tonight?
Okay. Dear Tesla, I think they all love that name Tesla, don't you, Kai?
And
yes, thank you. Dear Tesla, is there an insight you would like to share with us tonight?
Okay, then I repeat the question. Here, and then let's see. Now let you hear it. They stay children. Het blijven kinderen. And then they say, let's see, what is that? I need to check that. And then they say Eva en Martin moet dus opletten. Eva and Martin needs to how you say it, has to take attention or something. Eva en Martin moet dus goed opletten, they say. And then they say, the moonlight will change you. He answers, the moonlight will change you. Het moonlicht gaat jullie veranderen. they say, your children will sleep from it. She has children, that's right. Je kinderen slapen ervan. This is mostly the result that I have. This kind of clear, that you can hear more clearly. Je kinderen slapen ervan. And Martin, please keep attention on me, Nikola says. En Martin, nou, alsjeblieft, let op mij. En Martin, alsjeblieft, let op mij. I think they would like his attention. And Martin is my husband, but he has a lot of things on his head. And then they say to him, also thank. Ook bedanken. And then there is said, I believe now he is going away. He is this Nikola. And this is your mother speaking, Lonneke. Ik geloof dat hij nu weggaat. Dat is je moeder, Lonneke. Okay, here it comes. Let's see. Okay. Ik geloof dat hij weggaat. Dat is je moeder, Lonneke. Zo, moet ik lachen, Eva? Moet ik lachen, Eva? En dan, ik hoor zijn gedachten, dus hij gaat nu echt weg. I can hear his thoughts, that's my mother speaking. She is my gatekeeper. I hear his thoughts and now he's truly going on his way. Ik hoor zijn gedachten, dus hij gaat nu echt op weg. Ik hoor zijn gedachten, dus hij gaat echt op weg. Let's do it a little bit quicker. Maybe it's more easy to hear. Dus ik hoor zijn gedachten, dus hij gaat nu echt op weg. Yes, that's funny. Of course they do. So that was just the radio, and then I ask if there is another question, a message, so to speak. I ask if there is a message for Kai Muegge through Stognancy. Stognancy is not with the radio. Then they say he is, even kijken, he, that's Kai, needs to learn, will learn a lot more. We know that already. Here it comes. Hij gaat nog veel meer leren, dat weten we al lang. This is very difficult to hear for you, I believe. Hij gaat nog veel meer leren, dat weten wij al lang. And then they say, he, that's Kai, has, they say, above also a body, but they mean, of course, his double. Okay, here it comes. Hij heeft boven ook een lichaam. En dan, hij krijgt nog veel verrassingen, heel veel verrassingen. He will get still a lot of surprises. And he is Kai. Hij krijgt nog veel meer verrassingen. So this was it for today. It was not an easy one, and maybe it is too long what I shared with you, but anyway, I did it, and I hope you enjoy it, and hope to see you next time, because next time will be an interview with Robert van der Broeke. And don't forget to see the video with the light phenomena. It's wonderful. Bye.